Okay, so the underband is all done. That's all looking lovely. I'll turn it over so you can see. And now we need to do the straps. So there is a measurements for straps, but it really does depend on your body. If you have a long torso, then your straps will need to be longer. If you have a short torso, then your straps will need to be shorter. So there's lots of different factors when it comes to how long your straps are. The best thing to do is just to try it and see what works for you. So I've already cut out my straps. So I've cut out two 24cm ones. The longer ones are for the adjustable part of the strap, and then the shorter ones are the single strap, so we won't be adjusting these ones. So they're 20cm and the longer ones are 24cm. So now we need to use our rings and sliders. So I'm using a 16mm slider, as you can see, that fits nicely on the width there, and two 13mm rings. So to make up the straps, we are now going to go back to the machine and I will show you how to do that. Okay, so take your two longer straps here and then get your slider and then place the elastic through it once like that, and then twice like that, and this is with the right side of the strap elastic facing outwards. So that's how you want it. And then what we're going to do is secure this. So we're going to leave between 1 and 1.5 centimeters. So from this edge here to this edge here should be between 1 and 1.5 centimeters. So you can measure that and see the right length. And then what we're going to do is sew a small zigzag stitch along this end bit here. So as you know, I don't like going too small with my zigzag stitches because things get a bit tricky. So we're going to go to a 3 width. You can do a 3.5, between a 3 and a 3.5 is fine. I like a nice neat little one, so a 3 width, and the length it needs to be quite small, so I go down to a 1.4. Then this is the same stitch that we use in module 2 when we done the knicker elastic, when we secured the two ends together. So it's quite a small zigzag, but if the length is too small, then it becomes really quite tricky to sew. So a 1.4 length is quite ideal. You can probably go down to 1.2 if you feel like you need to. So if you place the slider on the left side of the machine, and you can do this with a regular foot, and then just start sewing, and then go back, make sure you do reverse. Now this won't be taken under the machine, it shouldn't do anyway, because the elastic is really firm, it's not a kind of fine fabric or anything. And then go back and then forward. So there we go, that's attached like that. And then what you now do is put the ring on the other end. So, and then once you've put the ring in that end, you take the end and you put it in this slider. So you've got the top part of the seam here, and then you put that in the slider, so up and then through it again, and then that is the adjustable part of your strap done, and that's how you can adjust it. So that would be the shorter length, and then that would be the longer length. So the raw edge of the elastic, when we first sewed that through, should be on the inside of the two elastics there, so then that doesn't catch on your skin or whatever, so that's nice and soft. So yeah, you need to do the exactly same that you've just done with this one to the other longer strap. Okay, so you've got the two adjustable parts of the shoulder strap there. Now the next bit you need to do is to attach your shorter length. So this shorter length goes through the ring here. So that's all we do, and then we need to stitch this down. So you just want to make sure that your seam allowance here is at the back and not the front. So this would be the front, and then this is the back. So you want your little turnover at the back here. So again, we're going to use the small zigzag stitch to stitch that. So again, you want about 1 to 1.5 centimeters fold over on that. Make sure you don't go too close to the ring so your foot sits flat on the machine. Like that. So now you have your complete shoulder straps, and then now they need to be attached to the bralette. So yeah, if you do the same thing again with this side, and then we'll be sewing onto the bralette.